so many women entrepreneurs across India, across the world.
Sure. Thank you so much.
And this is a very beautiful initiative where we'll know more about ourselves and how we can achieve more when we know more about ourselves. And it's a beautiful opportunity for all the women entrepreneurs to know more about themselves and how they can build huge organization, and they can grow in all dimensions of their lives through this simple knowledge which our scriptures have been telling us since ages, since time immemorial. So human being is made up of 5 dimensions. So when we say self care, it has to include all these 5 dimensions. But as a doctor, we are always taught about only the physical aspect of our life, because the body is the gross aspect of us and which is easily seen to our naked eyes. So we think we are made up of only our body, our sense organ, our organs, and our diseases. But it is not so. There is a mental aspect beyond the physical, more subtler than the physical, which constitutes of all our thoughts. More than the mental, there is an emotional body for all of us, which consists of all our feelings and all our emotions. There is a huge intellectual part, intellectual dimension, which tells us what is right, what is wrong, what are our value system, what are our decisions regarding our lives, regarding our value system. There is so much hidden in this intellectual personality. Yes, of course, the spiritual aspect, which encompasses, enlivens the whole of the personality, physical, mental, emotional, intellectual, and that is the energy source for all the other bodies. And usually, a person who is very, very successful in their life, growing in all dimensions, we call them as a holistic wonder. Most of the times what we see is a man will achieve in one aspect of their life because will be gone by many roles in our lives. Maybe for Dr. Asha, maybe a doctor is only one role, but as a daughter, as a mother, as a daughter-in-law, as a wife, as an entrepreneur, there are so many other roles. Only when I achieve mastery on all these 5 dimensions, I can do justice to all my roles of my life. Only then we can call it as holistic wonder, holistic well-being. That is, there is a balance in all the layers of our personalities. You might have seen people with strong aura. When they talk, the whole of the crowd, whole of the audience, they listen. And usually when they talk something about emotional aspects of life, there is tears in everybody's eyes, and the connect to the speaker will be through the heart than the mind. So that is called a holistic, wonderful personality. So all of us know what is physical dimension. We know more than necessary, but are we following the steps which is necessary for us to maintain our physical dimension is the question. Because I see so many ladies, so much of capacities, capabilities, but they don't take care of the health aspect. Once we neglect this health aspect of physical dimension of our bodies, not much can be achieved later, because once the physical dimension goes for a toss, it is followed by very negative thoughts, very negative emotions, and our decisions, intellectual personality goes for a confusion. There's no clarity there. Our energy bodies suffer, and all the loved ones in our family will be having a very tough time because we are not taking care of our physical dimension, and we are suffering through our health diseases, getting often admitted in the ICU, unconscious in a comatose condition. But the people waiting outside the ICU, waiting for your return, will be having the worst time of their lives, and they'll be telling them repeatedly inside, why did my mother did not take care of her health when it was very much necessary? Why didn't my papa take care of his health? Because we need him so much now. So we have to focus on this physical dimension so much when we care for our loved ones and when we care for our clients and customers. So there are so many aspects of physical body. Diet is one aspect of our healthy way. So we have to know what to choose to eat, because Our Vedas, our Upanishads, everything gives lot of prominence to the healthy diet. Are we going for a tongue conscious food or are we going for a health conscious food? That should be the decision every time we sit to eat. And are we doing justice to the food we are eating? Are we having a complete nutritious aspect taken care when we are selecting a food which we are eating? For example, there are so many diets in the market. They say ketogenic diet, protein only diet, carbo free diet, many thing and many more. So many vitamins are marketed, so many multivitamins are given. They promise the sky, but there should be a combination of carbohydrates, proteins, vitamins, minerals in exact combination so that our bodies will enjoy a greater health. Sleep is one more aspect where we have to be very, very careful. Let's look at it later. Exercise, the most neglected part, especially in Asian countries and especially in India, where exercise is not given due prominence, which it has to get. Water intake, many of the people don't take care of their hydration inside their bodies. And most important, I feel lifestyle has to come in the first circle, because we are addressing a very, very elite people today, most educated. We have to have our lifestyle right. In other words, we have to get our dinacharya right. Only when our lifestyle is perfect, we can have all the goals, all the dreams in our life gets achieved. Once we fall into sedentary habits, once we get into some addictions without our knowledge, once there is huge sensory overload on our systems, the whole balance or in the harmony of the body gets into a very bad condition. So we have to be very, very cautious about our lifestyles. So when we go for the physical body, diet forms the most important core or the crux of the thing, because we have to eat it right. Our Vedas told that Annam Brahmam, or Hippocrates told that food thy medicine. So there's no diet that will do what eating healthy does. And also, don't focus too much on this fancy diets. Just eat healthy, 40% carbohydrates, 30% proteins, rest of its fats, and remaining multivitamins and multinutrients. And also the mineral component should be added. You have to know how to eat it right. Once that is done, it nourishes the all aspects of your personality very well. We have seen so many people, they get their mind, their meditation right, pranayama right, their thoughts right, but their body does not cooperate. So many times they go for a different kind of diseases and they cannot go ahead in their spiritual practices, or they cannot achieve what they have dreamt of. Or they could have a very strong mind, no healthy body, or they could be very healthy in their body, very fit, they would have built their muscles so well, they would have had six pack, abdomen, everything, but their mind will not cooperate with them. Only when there is amalgamation of the both, healthy mind, healthy body, healthy emotions, then everything gets sets right. Sleep is very, very essential for our physical bodies, because I've been seeing that this is the most ignored and the it's neglected part of our daily living nowadays, because we don't have a regular go to bed and wake up time, and we don't avoid caffeine. In spite of that, it is time to sleep, we keep having our caffeinated drinks, and most of us travel in the AC cars, go into AC offices, sit there, work, and come back in the AC. We never expose ourselves to the bright sunlight, which is very, very, very essential for everybody, and ladies in particular, for their bone health, for their joint health, for their right emotions, for the right thoughts, for the whole functioning of the body. Exposure to the sunlight is very, very essential. So we have to make sure that we walk in the open air with the open sunlight. And your bedroom should be conducive to sleep. It should not have some distracting computers, televisions, phones, video games, which will really knock off your sleep. And once we start losing our sleep in a regular manner, everything starts manifesting as diseases, because most of the rejuvenation happens in the sleep. Subconscious mind goes for very much rejuvenation in the sleep. Then our thoughts gets clarity, our hormones gets regularized, There are so much of rebuilding happening in the muscles, nerves, everything. So we have to be very, very sleep hygienic conscious so that we have a good night sleep. Comfortable mattress and pillow, I did not tell you people. You should not go into the bed feeling hungry or with a full meal also, and also with the bad emotions. If something is really troubling you, you have to get it corrected in your thought level, and then you have to go into bed. Otherwise, the whole of the sleep which you have 8 to 10 hours, those thoughts and emotions will be acting on your subconscious mind. So have a relaxing routine before bedtime, like bathing with warm water, having a soft music, or reading some good books which will really interest you. And you reserve your bedroom only for sleeping only, not for other things. And exercise during the day will have really good sleep hygiene during the night also. So if you follow all these general tips for having healthy sleep hygiene, most of the conditions of the body and the mind can be taken care of easily. So physical body exercise is very, very essential, because once we start exercising, all the happy hormones will be released. The muscles will have a very good nutritious daily. It will have a very good exercising routine for itself or to develop. Diet and exercise will give you very great results because it's a very good combination. But you have to remember, consistency is the key here, because I see people, they take up some sort of a exercise for some days for aerobic, or some days yoga, or some days some other dance routine. Suddenly they don't see results, they give up and they go for other routine. So if you keep changing this, whatever exercise pattern, the body will be confused. You have to be patient to get a lasting result. And you have to have a planned routine for yourself to have your physical body right. Yoga and pranayama as a combination which covers all the 5 aspects of our personality. That's the best form of exercise, especially ladies above 40 or 45. This gives a good stretching, it gives good build to the muscles. It also addresses our thought levels and also addresses emotional. And finally, it nourishes the energy body too. Please measure what you are doing, what diet you are taking, and check your weight, your body mass index, and how you are progressing in your daily routines, so that if you measure daily, you will know what else to add and what else to change, so that there is a lot of improvement in the long run. You have to start today, and you have to start now your physical body exercises. So many couples who approaches us for something or the other problem, when we ask them about their exercise routine, usually they tell us we don't follow any sort of exercise because we don't have any time. We get up by 6, come back by 10. Where is the time for us to exercise? You should not do like this. You have to have a planned routine. Get up early, finish your exercise, finish your yoga pranayama. Only then you have to go for your career or other things. Most people ignore this factor called hydration, because they don't have enough knowledge what water does to our body. More than 75 to 80% of our cells are made up of water. So we have to have this good hydration for our bodies. Otherwise, people will suffer from fatigue, very less energy, migraines, constipation, digestive issues. There will be lot of headaches, lightheadedness, joint and muscle pains. Once you start hydrating your body, you just calculate for every 10 kg, it is 1 liter of water. So if I am 60, for every 20 kg, it is 1 liter. So if I'm 60 kg, I'll need 3 liters of water. So if you have your proper routine, like drinking every 1 hour, every 2 hours, then you will know whether your body will be properly hydrated, and you will have good hydration in your body systems. So what is the best time to drink water? As soon as you get up, it's better to have good amount of water with lemon or plain water itself. And you have to space your water intake throughout the day. And by 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, you have to stop taking 75% of the water intake should have been already done, because otherwise the night routine, night sleep gets affected. So properly plan your water intake. So what I was telling you about active lifestyle, you have to eat right, exercise right. We have to limit our screen time, which is very, very essential nowadays, because more than 10 hours of screen time in your mobiles, laptops, and TVs and tabs will really strain your eyes. Your vision will get bad, and most of your thoughts will get confused. There will be no clarity in the next day decisions. Your sleep will not be deep. So you have to have active social life too. Have good exercise routine, fun relaxation music. Then you will have enjoy a very, very good physical body. We are seeing lot of electromagnetic radiation effect in a person nowadays, especially in the younger kids, because I see always kids getting enticed by this mobiles, laptops, social media thing, chatting, surfing, and usually I see mothers give the younger ones some sort of a mobile or some screen time so that they can easily feed the child. There will be no distractions. But the skull is so soft and it is not thick in the younger kids. So there will be penetration of the electromagnetic radiation easily into their brains, and the brains are also very soft and very, they are in a very infancy stage. So I've seen so many speech issues with the kids, learning disabilities, balance issues with the smaller ones. Also in the elderly people who don't have control with this electromagnetic radiations, they suffer from lot of headaches, some heart issues, some circulatory problems, leg cramps. So it is better we limit our exposure to the electromagnetic radiation as far as possible. I know it has become a way of life now, it is needed, but we have to weigh the advantages over the disadvantages and decide what to do. This is one thing which we are seeing as doctors, endocrine disruptors, because too much exposure into these chemicals, insecticides, pesticides, fungicides, metals, solvents, paints, chemicals, whatever we put it on our bodies, cosmetics, shampoo, solvents, all these are having effect on our endocrine systems. Because of these endocrine disruptors, we are seeing lot of infertility issues. Thyroid issues has become a very common thing in everybody, especially in the ladies. Adrenal gland issues, parathyroid, pancreas, diabetes, hypertension. Many problems are there because of our exposure to the chemical substances. So you have to be very cautious when you are getting something home. You have to see that you are going for organic things with no very strong toxic chemicals or toxic taste makers or coloring agents, and you have to have your vegetables and fruits bought from a good shop, organic certified, wash it properly and then use it. Be cautious with what you are exposing yourself to. So that's about the physical dimension. The most important thing is the mental aspect, because what we think becomes our reality. What we had thought previously, we are facing the situation today. So what are our thoughts today will decide our next 10 years, next future. This plays a very important aspect in our lives, because I have seen people since 25-30 years, how their thoughts, how their emotions, how negative they were, and how it has manifested today in the form of diseases, in the form of life situations. I can think of so many examples. I know a particular couple who used to come into my clinic when I had a small clinic. Their talk was so negative. They used to always focus on what is going wrong in their lives, what relationship issues are happening at home, how financially they are becoming very bad, how their bodies are not cooperating. They used to always talk of these negative things. And I used to tell them, though I knew very little about this aspect, but I used to tell them it's better you don't always dwell on these negative aspects too much. but never it gave into their mind. They never stopped it. And today that lady has stage 4 breast cancer. She is suffering from severe depression, OCD. She's taking medicines for that, obsessive compulsive disease. She has thyroid issues, uncontrolled diabetes. Husband has severe hypertension. He has lost his job. They are in a very dire situation financially. So whatever we were thinking 25 since 25 years, our mind, our subconscious mind makes it a reality as the days goes on. Whatever negative thoughts and negative emotions we dwell, it starts manifesting in our physical body as diseases, as cancers, and as in the mental capacity, it manifests as depression, panic attacks. We'll go more into this dimension slowly. So as I told you, there has to be a balance between an individual and the surrounding world, because all interactions happens between me and the surrounding world, and the reaction and responses of the surrounding world is not in my control. The only thing which is in my control is my reaction, my responses, my thoughts, my emotions. So there should be a state of harmony between oneself and the others. If I always keep blaming the outside world for the relationship issues, for the financial situation, for the job situation, for my physical health, it will never improve. Only when I take responsibility for my life, when the fingers start pointing towards me, my life is my responsibility and no blaming is allowed. Everything in the mental dimension changes and it starts manifesting in the physical dimension. This is real truth what I am talking of. So it can be a source of all problems, mind, or it can be a healer of all problems. You might have seen so many people, they undergo so much of problems and suddenly something happens to their thoughts, their clarity comes and mind starts healing all the issues in their lives. I know a person who was in a terminal stage cancer and who happened to listen to Chinmayananda's discourse and something touched her so deep. From that day she started everything, whatever wrong she was doing, everything she started doing right. Her thoughts became clearer, everything, emotions became good. She started forgiving people and she had compassion towards herself and she could heal her terminal cancer completely. So mind can be a source of problem or can be a healer of all problems. Now it is a pandemic. I can give direction to my mind to say what all went wrong in my life during the pandemic. Or I can give a direction to my mind saying what beautiful things happened during this pandemic. It's a direction of the mind, which is very, very important. The way you direct it, it starts going, because once a train goes between the two rails, it goes to different destinations. It says, I don't want to go between these two, I want to have my own way, and goes amok. Havoc is created, isn't it? Even in the river, it has to flow through between the two banks beautifully. It can be a source of cultivation, happiness, joy for everybody. If it starts running amok, it creates havoc in everybody's life in the form of destruction, floods, everything. Similarly, the mind. Easily, the mind will not come into control. Even in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has told us this cannot be controlled easily. And there are umpteen number of methods to control our mind. And we have to be consistent, like the physical body I told about exercise consistency. We have to be very consistent with our mental training too. Let's see what are they. See, this mind body connection is very, very unique and it is very, very intense and intimate, because every disease pre-exists in a negative thought pattern or an emotion which we are cultivating and which we are harboring since many, many days. Every physical ailment, either from acne to arthritis, headaches to heart disease, or cold to cancers, might be anything. It's influenced by a negative thought pattern and a negative emotional pattern. Unless this mental pattern and emotional pattern is corrected, one cannot become well and healthy. There is a very, very beautiful synergy between the two, and we have to know this, because we are all dreaming of a beautiful world. We want to build a very nice world, and as a CWE, you want to gift everybody a beautiful growth in their companies, in their career, in their profession, in their families. So we have to know this intense connection between this mind and body, which can really take you very fast towards your goals. So we have seen so many disease prone personalities, isn't it? They're always in a time urgency. They run without knowing where they're running. There is a rushing lifestyle in them. I've seen many doctors, many consultants. They just come, rush into the ward, see the patient, put the notes, they rush again, they run to their cars. I've asked so many times the receptionist where they are running, why they are running. Nobody knows the answer. They're aggressive, they're hostile, easily angered. Always anger dominates in them. This is all disease prone personality. Once Ananda, he was the very close disciple of Buddha. And when they were going on the way, a person came and slapped Buddha. Buddha was so calm, so composed, Ananda could not stand it. He asked Buddha, shall I go and hit him back? I want to give him in the same coin. Buddha said, you need not punish an angry person because the negative emotions itself is a punishment to that person. He said, you have to take burning charcoal in the hands and you are planning to throw it on the opposite person. The burning charcoal, what does it do to me first? It burns me. Then I am planning to burn the other. Similarly, this angry, this envy, this jealousy, this shouting, this frustration, all this will burn us first. It's a acid which we are secreting on a daily basis. So acid destroys the vessel it holds, isn't it? So we are the vessels and all our negative emotion is the acid. It keeps burning us from within and it shows in a form of all sorts of diseases. They'll be multitasking all the times. They don't have a single focused attention. They keep multitasking. They're unable to relax. They always, they're cynical. They criticize, they crib, 3 C's. Instead, if they can accept the situation, appreciate and adjust, instead of the 3 C's, if we can move on to 3 A's, our whole life becomes most and more beautiful. They want to have control over the surroundings. They have manipulative behavior. All this hyper aggressiveness are predictors of heart disease, hypertension, excessive sugars, diabetes uncontrolled. These are all disease prone personalities. So just think over, where do I stand today? Where do I have to change? What are the disease prone personalities I am having? How should I change? Bringing this awareness into this negative emotions will solve so much of our negative emotions into positive side, because these negative emotions will be having lot of impact on our organ system, especially the liver, the heart, the digestive system. Digestive system is called the first brain today. So it will have lot of impact on our digestive systems. So how do I address a mental health? You have to go to a psychiatrist immediately if you have some mental issues. If you are having lot of anxiety, you are not able to control your negative emotions, you are having panic attacks, you are having suicidal thoughts, you are not having good relationships up at home because of your negative patterns, please go and take a psychologist or a psychiatrist help. It will really help you if you can listen to them and follow their advice and continue the treatment till they advise. You should not discontinue the treatment because you're feeling better. You're feeling better because of the tablets which you're taking and the correction it is doing inside. The doctor is the best judge to start the treatment and stop the treatment, and not the patient. You should not do it. Most disorders can be cured completely, especially if it is detected early. We have to know when to approach the psychiatrist, because mental diseases are not seen from the outside. Nobody can see it, like a lump or a cancer or a throat problem, fever. It's not visible. So we have to know when to approach and when we have to talk to our loved ones and tell them you need some help. Because I know so many people, they did not approach the psychiatrist in the right time and they ended in their lives by some simple silly methods. We cannot get back their lives. I know a staff nurse, She was suffering from depression. She was easily crying. There was a lot of crying spells. She was very emotional. We tried telling her so many times to go to the psychiatrist. In fact, I've arranged a consultation with the psychiatrist, but she did not turn up. Suddenly, one day, she hanged herself. So she had very small kids, 2 kids. The husband is really crying over the whole thing now. He did not give her help when it was needed. So addressing this mental issue is very, very important. Timely help and accepting the fact that some people need help in this area. We always deny this fact that I need mental health or I need psychiatrist help. No, please. If you have to have some clarity in your mind and clarity in your physics, you have to approach your family, self, friends, or others, talk to them, and approach a correct doctor. I've seen people when they lock themselves in their rooms, they don't want to approach anybody, talk to anybody, they don't want to have a social life, they're going through some mental issues. So you have to come out, ask for social support. And if you are seeing some people who are having such they are very, very introverts, they don't want to come and talk, they don't eat properly, they don't have a good appetite, they don't communicate properly, they are very hesitant. Please sit with them, talk to them, offer them help, because you are having so much knowledge today. You have to pass this knowledge on to your loved ones too. So how do you know if someone has a mental? This question always have people asking me. How do I know? Because everybody seems to have suffering from some sort of a mental health issues. See, as I was telling you, the signs of depression, they have some low confidence. They don't participate in everything. They always sit at the back. They don't offer to answer. They have very low self-esteem. And usually in the activities they were already enjoying, they lose interest in that. They don't do it anymore. They don't eat properly. They become skinny. They lose weight. They get tired, nervous, irritable, and they talk of ending their lives. They don't want to have a good life. They keep repeating those words. Life is worthless. I'm not worth living. Such words keep coming. Be cautious. If such things are happening, they need help. Or it could be signs of anxiety. They have some sort of tremors, they have difficulty in concentrating, they feel startled easily, irritable, they don't take proper decision, pale and tense. They have this anxiety. When it becomes too much of anxiety, they'll go for a panic attacks. They have intense sensation of fear. Suddenly the whole body becomes hot, suddenly it becomes cold, they go into a sweat, they faint like that. These are panic attacks. Or they can be OCDs. They keep repeating the same thing again and again. They do acts which are repetitive. They don't stop their obsessive thoughts. They keep asking for the same clarity again and again. They fight. So all these are depression, signs of mental health issues. So you have to see who are the people suffering from this, sit with them, discuss with them, set time aside with no distractions of your phones or your social media or somebody knocking or phone ringing. Please sit with them and discuss, because just listening to their problems will solve so much of their tensions. Give a listening ear and just focus on their eyes and talk to them, especially the old people at home. They'll have nobody to talk to. They'll be suffering with so much of problems inside. They have no listening ear. People around them are very busy. So you have to have talking time, listening time to them. Let them share as much or as little as they want to. Don't force them to. Let them talk on their own. Please don't try to diagnose by your knowledge, or don't second guess, or don't prompt. Let them have a catharsis feeling by giving out whatever frustrations they had. Just keep questions open-ended. Please be genuine in your words, feelings, and actions, because this love and affection in your eyes and that touch in your hand, that itself can cure so many people's problems, especially the older ones, loved ones in our families. Listen carefully to what they tell you. Offer help in seeking professional support. You have to nudge them. You have to take them once for the professional support. Set time aside for them. You will see miraculous change in them once you do so. This is the most important aspect, especially for women, the emotional dimension, which is so strong in a lady. Even this can create huge insight into the growth, or it can be a huge deterrent to our growths. If you have your emotional dimension right, it will really create a miraculous world for you. We know how much of emotional dramas happen at home and how much of emotional upheavals we suffer on a daily basis. But we should know how to take it right, how to cleanse it, how to clear it, because all these emotional aspects sits in our body and creates diseases in the longer run. A man bought a very beautiful brand new Mercedes Benz with so much of hard earned money, and he was so happy that day. He parked in his beautiful garage and he went and he had lot of parties, everything that day, went and relaxed, went into a deep sleep. Suddenly he was woken up by some sort of a sound banging at the door, a big ball or something, and it was repetitive. So he wanted to know who is playing the ball at this time of the day, and he came down to see that the noise was coming from the garage. He went on to see that his 8-year-old boy had taken a very hard ball and he was tossing the ball onto the Mercedes Benz car, and it was coming back and he was enjoying that game of ball on the car. That boy never knew it cost so much crores, and he never knew the difficulties which his father has undergone. He was very happy to see the new toy and he was playing with it. Imagine what the father might have undergone seeing that. There were several dents on the car. The father had a real heart attack and he went into a fit of emotional drama. And as you all know, in the sway of emotions, our intelligence will completely go for a toss. It will never function, isn't it? So the father immediately saw this side and that side. There was one sharp object, took the boy, kept his hand, immediately started putting that sharp object on the boy's hand, which threw the ball several times on the car and had created dents. It started bleeding profusely. The baby started shouting with pain. Everybody came, and suddenly his intelligence and intellect came back to his rescue. He did not understand what had come over him. Immediately saw the baby was struggling, writhing with pain. They took him to the hospital. The doctor said multiple bones have been fractured because of the assault, and even his fingers, one finger has to be amputated in order to save the hand. So all surgery, everything was done. They came back. By that time, the car had also gone for a repair for the dents. His driver had taken it, and even the car returned. The small boy, with all his innocence, asked the father, "Daddy, now the car has come back. When will my finger come back?" So, this emotional dimension is very, very important for us to have a right balance of life, because we have huge emotional issues, huge emotional dramas, which we regret later, repent later, and we suffer from so much of guilt in the later days. We are not able to forgive ourselves. We don't know what brought in that act or emotional act. We are filled with shame, sadness, anger. So we have to have the right frame of emotions, because to have this love, joy, empathy, hope, and happiness, we have to train our emotional body. Otherwise, usually it gravitates towards the hatred, anger, fear, shouting. Just like that, we'll be having very bad emotions towards our loved ones and people who are very close to us. So we should have a right frame of emotions. So how does this emotions act in our body? As I told you, it weakens our organ system in a great way. See how the stomach is getting really getting bad by the worries which we think often. The stress weakens our heart and brain. Fear really affects our kidneys. People who are always filled with grief, they suffer from respiratory diseases. Anger weakens our digestive and the liver systems. Just come to the other side. How being happy releases the happy hormones. How laughter brings more circulatory blood flow into us. And when you want to meet your loved ones, how your heart becomes super efficient. Love kindles this beautiful thing in the circulatory system, lowers the blood cholesterol levels. Just a touch, just a hug heals so many of our negative emotions. So we have to shift our emotional expertise from negative towards the positive emotions. Most of the emotional health disruptions which were happen could be a traumatic early childhood experience, or it could be a job issue. There could be some financial breakdown or money problems, or there will be no support in the family, or it could be a divorce or a marriage issue. Could be we are moving on to a new home or disease of a loved one. So there are so many emotional disruptors which are happening on a daily basis. As I told you, in the sway of emotions, we should never decide and never act. And I want to tell you this emotional vomit which happens in everyday's life. In the sway of emotions, whatever we vomit out of our mouth in the form of words, in the form of actions, in the form of some gestures, all these are just a vomiters. We don't, even when there is a person vomiting, we don't analyze their vomiters, isn't it? This is rice, this is dal, this is tomato, this is beans. Do we do that? Similarly, in the sway of emotions, when a person is vomiting out all negative words, all angry things, all gestures, actions, they're all just momentary and it is not in their deep part of their heart and mind. Don't keep it and worry the whole of your life, because I've seen one brother and sister, they stopped talking 25 years back because of some words uttered during a family feud, family fight. So don't spoil the entire life because of some emotional words or gestures. Deep relationships are built by investing time, communication, and emotion. This I learned a hard way 15 years back because I was a very, very, very special and a very successful doctor. But relationships at home were suffering because I was not giving enough time, enough communication, enough emotions. Once this I heard from a master in one of the lectures, it entirely changed my life. You have to have good time, good communication, good emotions where you want deep relationships. Please don't be an emotional beggar. Don't always beg for love. Don't always beg for forgiveness. Don't always beg for all the things you need. Be a giver. Once you give, everything comes back to you in multiple folds. Go into any relationship looking at what you can give rather than what you can receive. And be a compulsive good finder. This gives you a lot of clarity in emotions and relationships. And remember, when this ego comes, everything goes. And when ego goes, everything comes. In the sway of ego, in the sway of emotions, most of the relationships are lost. Please have a control on the egoistic behaviors. Intellectual dimension is what value systems you have in your life, for what values you stand for. For example, Arjuna stood for the right values. Duryodhana stood for all the wrong values. Duryodhana had Shakuni in his life. Arjuna had Krishna in his life. So when you stand for values, values will stand for you. Just keep this in mind. Take the right decisions by your intellectual personalities. I wanted to talk about the subconscious mind, which is the powerhouse in a man, because the power of a man is power of his mind. And power of his mind is in his power of his subconscious mind. Power of his subconscious mind is because of his inner beliefs which he has in himself. This is a huge topic. It will take me another half an hour, which I cannot go into details today, I think. So let this be a part one of our talk. We can go into this in detail because I have so many aspects of subconscious mind training techniques to work with, which Pushpalata will organize in a later day, because I went into detail in the other aspects. So we'll keep this for a later date and later time.
Sure.
If you have any questions to me, you can just,
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Asha. This was a very informative session, and we can already see in the chat box that the participants have very good feedback and have found this session very informative and very relevant in today's time, actually. So we have some questions, Dr. Asha, and I'll read them out for you, and you can just, will also, the participants who have asked these questions, we would also like to request to come on video, if that's okay, so that Dr. Asha can reply to your questions.
Yeah.
So this question is from Srividya Nagaraju, Dr. Asha. Can counseling help for emotional issues?
Can she come on video?
Yeah, Srividya, would it be possible for you to come on video, please?
But I'm not seeing my video also. Oh, Srividya.
Yes, you can carry on. Yeah.
You wanted to know that whether counseling will help for an emotionally hyper person.
Issues, yeah, for emotional issues.
Yeah, definitely. Counseling is done for that itself. When the person is very emotional, they're not able to have the right state of mind. When the emotions is taking over the intellect always, really counseling can help them a lot. I can guide you further if you put me a detailed mail for whom you're talking, what is the age group, what is the issue. I can answer you immediately on ashaisvijay@gmail.com.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Asha. We would share the email ID later, and if anyone wants to connect to you, we'll surely make the connect with you.
Yeah.
And they will take this ahead for a much more detailed discussion with you.
Yeah.
The next question, Dr. Asha, is from Maina. Most times we recognize these signs of anxiety and depression in others while we fail to do it in ourselves. What are some of the ways to recognize it in ourselves?
Yeah, that's what I was telling you, the symptoms and signs. Telltale signs. See, when you are having this gloomy thoughts in your mind always, you are not getting rejuvenated and revigorated in the early mornings, and you want to sleep more in one corner of the room. You don't want to interact with other family members. And when you lose interest in your daily activities, which you were feeling very passionate about, you don't want to go to work. And when you want to communicate to your people, client, customers, you don't want to talk to them, you want to sit in one side, or you are losing weight, not eating properly, the thoughts are not right, you are aware of all those. So you can know that you are going into a depressive symptoms. Anxiety is where you will feel anxious about everything. Your body is not comfortable in the place it is in. You can't sit in one place, you can't stand in one place, you can't meditate. If you sit for a pranayama, it asks you to get up. If you go and start cooking, it says go and look at the other things in the house. So you keep wandering in one place, you don't sit in one place. These are all signs of anxiety. Even this I can guide you more. If you can just mail me on ashaisvijay@gmail.com, dear.
Thank you, Asha.
Yeah. Dr. Asha, the next question is from Neeta Gulati. How to revive broken relationships? My brother behaved bad with my mother and didn't even allow me to talk to her. And since after my mother's demise, I never called him as he never called me to.
Your own brother, huh? Own brother.
Neeta, if you could answer Dr. Asha.
Yeah, doctor, what happened? She was very serious, and he left her to my house in Hyderabad, and I mean, she got just become very serious. So I got done her treatment, admitted her in Continental Hospital, and she was almost on the ventilator and all. But luckily we got a very good pulmonologist, and she was saved. And her health became totally all right. Her all earlier taken medicines stopped. Only one BP medicine she was taking. That was in 80s. And then since I had a plan to go US, so after her, relief from the hospital, myself and my husband left, and my brother was at my home, and then he had taken mother to the Bombay. My brother is, but my mother and his wife and the daughter, they had, I don't know what kind of things going on. My mother lived in a very nice life. My father had always pampered her, giving her all whatever she wanted and all. But this lady, my sister-in-law, even was not giving her a cream which she used to use all the time. And if I am telling that, don't worry, any expenditure you want from my mother, I am ready to take this thing. Don't stop her habits, what she's been doing right from the beginning. This is the time when she can continue this. But if I say, they feel bad that I'm showing money.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So I had to stop myself. Once we just went to meet her, and my mother told my husband that, Ved Prakash, wo wala cream mujhe la dena. I want that. She was using some Dr. Reddy's, this guy. So my husband simply bought that cream and gave her. And then she fought so much with me about that when she is with me, how can you do this kind of thing and take? Then when I called on the phone, they stopped. They were not allowing me to talk to my mother also. And I was in Mumbai, she was in hospital, but I didn't know that she is in hospital. I didn't meet her, and she expired.
Okay.
And then since then, I didn't go for her last rites also at my brother's place, because I felt when she's not there, doesn't make any sense for me to go there.
Yeah, Neeta, see, what happened to your mother is really, I'm really sorry. That sort of behavior should not be there. But every story will have different perspectives, Neeta.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, there will be different perspectives to it. Maybe your brother is not at all at fault.
No, actually, my brother, I know, because as a boy,
Neeta, just a request, sorry to interrupt, but since we just have like 2 minutes to go, and for this, so maybe we can do a personal connect to Dr. Asha. And since it's a very personal discussion, Dr. Asha might be able to help you, if that's okay, Neeta. If Dr. Asha wants to.
Yeah, very true, very true. I will connect to you, doctor. Can you leave your number?
Neeta, I can call you. I have your contacts through Pushpalata.
Yeah.
I'll call you. Don't worry.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Neeta. So, Dr. Asha, before we end on with that, we come to the end of today's session. We just had one question from Pushpalata herself, actually. Will thyroid affect our emotions? Would you like to take that as the last question?
I did not get you.
Will thyroid affect our emotions?
Yeah, definitely. Thyroid is a endocrine gland which has control on all the physical, mental, emotional, everything, intellectual, if it is uncontrolled. But if it is controlled enough, taken treatment properly, and the thyroid levels are monitored, measured every 3 months, it doesn't have any effect.
Sure. Thanks, Dr. Asha. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Asha, with that, we come to the end of today's session. And thank you very much for such an insightful session. We have seen that all our participants are very keen to connect to you too. You have already provided the email ID, and we would share it with them and they can connect to you after the session. On that note, Dr. Asha, we would also like to tell you and our participants about this very interesting initiative that CWE has launched called CWE Cares, which is an initiative to help entrepreneurs in their mental, emotional, and physical well-being, basically, both professionally and personally. So we have a list. We have counselors, therapists, business coaches, and different types of, like, someone might be a music therapist, someone might someone might be an expressive art therapist. So we have a range of people who are supporting this initiative, and about which, and we'd like everyone to actually come and check the platform. And please take support. Like Dr. Asha said, it's very essential, at least in today's time, to come talk about your problems, take support. On that note, I would also quickly like to invite my colleague, Maina, who can maybe just talk a little about CWE Cares. Maina, maybe invite Dr. Shah also to be a part of the forum. And that way also all the participants connect to Dr. Asha. So Dr. Asha will send you more details after the session.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thank you, Aishri, for that, for talking about CWE Cares also. Just to introduce myself, this is Maina here. Sorry, my network is not great, so I'm not on video. But just for everybody listening, thank you, Asha, for this lovely presentation and kind of making it so relevant, our health in all aspects and how it's so important for in everything that we do. We tend to keep them separate, our physical and mental and emotional wellness, but to see that how it's all interconnected is very important. And as Aishri mentioned, your talk was very beneficial for everybody listening. We would also like to invite you to be a part of the CWE Cares initiative, so that our members can also continue interacting with you at this level and kind of help themselves. So I will reach out to you personally, but it would be great to have you on that platform. And likewise, everybody else who's here today, please, as Asha mentioned, Dr. Asha mentioned, avail of this opportunity. See a professional, reach out to people when you feel that you're on the, on the edge of anxiety and panic or any kind of discomfort, as Dr. Asha said. That is kind of why we have started this initiative. So I again encourage everybody to avail of this opportunity, and you can talk to Asha through that too. So thank you all for listening in today.
Yeah, thank you, Maina.
Sure. Thank you.
Beautiful opportunity.
Thank you so much. Yeah, the link, Dr. Asha and all participants, the link I have put it on the chat box too, in case you want to check it. But thank you, Dr. Asha. Thank you for this session. We hope to do many more sessions, like you said, in the future, and take advantage of the skills and the knowledge you have shared with us today. On that, I would like to thank all our participants who have joined us today for this afternoon session. Like we said, to connect to Dr. Asha, please do write us an email and we would make the connect. Also, on that note, the video of this, the recording would be available on the CW YouTube channel. So I would request you to please subscribe to our YouTube channel and to follow us on all the social media channels to stay updated with all our upcoming events, workshops, and webinars that we would be hosting with industry professionals and individual and other mentors. So our next workshop is actually a very interesting one, and it is on the 11th and the 14th of September, and is on digital marketing. So it's a very closed group workshop where you'll actually learn hands-on to create your Facebook, WhatsApp, and Google business pages. So I would request you all to please sign up. We only have 5 seats left. So please do sign up and be a part of this session. And also the next session on the 18th September is the art saying no in business, which I'm sure again is very crucial to all women entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs in general. So look forward to seeing you all on all our upcoming sessions and having and for membership, please do connect to us. You can see on the chat box that there are 2 email IDs given where you can connect to us and know about the memberships we offer and how to become a part of this platform so that we can help you in your entrepreneurial journey. Thank you so much, everyone. Again, thank you. Have a great weekend ahead. Thank you, Dr. Asha.
Thank you.